session put on by Gangplank. Has anyone heard of Gangplank, Sault Ste. Marie? I guess you heard about it from last week. So, great. Well, so Gangplank Sault Ste. Marie is really, the goal of Gangplank Sault is to bring together people to collaborate and build community around a new model of economy where we can help each other, where we can accelerate learning and tap into the creativity and innovation that we have here in Sault Ste. Marie. There are already Gangplanks in other cities in the United States. That's where I first came across Gangplank. And so in addition to that, we're now launching some programs to reach out into the community and provide some benefit to the community at large. And so these brown bag sessions are the first attempt to do that. So we're going to be having them every Wednesday, bringing people in who have a certain passion, a certain expertise. So bringing in people from the community who have a passion and expertise to help us learn and grow and stretch. Gangplank's all about helping you step out a little bit, go out on the edge, but in a way that where you. I'd like to introduce my buddy Curt Oneil, local photographer who's also spoken at past Ignite Sault event. And Curt's going to be sharing from his personal experiences as an entrepreneur around how to learn from failures and to be more successful.
We can also video. Fail well, friend, teacher, path to success. I'm not sure how many of you know of the new app called Draw Something. That's pretty addictive. It's on iPhone, it's on Android devices. Blackberries don't have it. But essentially it's almost like Pictionary, but you can play it back and forth with friends, and it's kind of addicting, and I'm kind of addicted to it. So I decided I would draw my own fail whale. But I pretty much failed at that, so we'll actually go to the real fail whale here. And this is the actual real fail whale that if you search in Google for fail whale, this guy will come up. He was drawn by this person down the bottom. I don't know how to pronounce his name, or her name, unfortunately. But this is what, when Twitter was first coming out, it would always overload the system, and this is what you would see if you try to log into Twitter, and then the big giant fail whale will come up and everybody will be upset because they can't waste their time anymore. So, who am I? We're moving to that. For those who don't really know me, I know a couple of you in here. My name is Curt Oneil. Like I just said, I'm a professional photographer. My main business is weddings and engagement shoots, but I do shoot families and babies and all that other stuff that sort of spun off from those. I do photography, I'm self-taught, but going through the process of obtaining my degree on my own sort of helped establish sort of a base of how I live my life right now. I'm also a husband to my wife, Jess. We were married in 2009, and we have a new little daughter at home, Reese, who was born in September, and she sort of runs our lives right now. But she's pretty fun. So that's my background. And then I'll lead in right into this failing experience that they did. Moves us right into fear, which is one of the main things that keeps us sort of held back from actually aiming for our successes, and we're always afraid to fail. The fear of failing and the fear of making mistakes is what's going to hold us back. It's one thing that will separate like an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to succeed and a leader from somebody who's going to sit back and be a follower or just comfortable in their 9-to-5 job sort of a thing. We must overcome that fear to become successful. If we're not striving to take those chances, to keep moving forward and to take those. And actually, when I wrote this, I thought of. Does anybody remember the No Fear T-shirts that were like really popular in the '90s? And they always had those weird random sayings, and it's also one of the reasons why we play sports, and one of the reasons why we get our children to sports or organize activities when they're young. It's to teach them those lessons that you're never always going to be the winner. You will lose. You won't always be the team that's undefeated or win the championship. Not even Green Bay. I know, and they didn't even go undefeated. They lost. But Donald Driver won Dancing with the Stars, which is pretty amazing, right, everybody? I don't want Dancing with the Stars, but Donald Driver's a Green Bay Packer, so it's a good news for people in Green Bay, I guess. And then I still play sports now. I played sports growing up. I have a slow pitch team now. We're called the Beards. Basically based off of this. Our logo is a big giant beard, and we're horrible. We know we're horrible. We lost last night. So my very first business when I graduated from university, I didn't get a job right away, and I started a company called Murderfly Multimedia. I had this really cool logo. I thought this is a really cool name, and it was website development, and it was going to work with local bands, and then I was going to expand from there. It'd actually be a business because I needed it to sustain myself, and but I had a couple of problems. Like when I was 25 or 24, whatever I was when I graduated, I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, 24 I think. This seemed really cool. It seemed amazing, and I actually pulled this off my website because I don't have it anywhere on my computer anymore, which is kind of funny, or backups or anything I could find. But if you take a look at it, we are just break it down. So the logo's kind of cool. It's kind of funky. But it's really amateur. It's not crisp. It's not clean. It doesn't really say anything to anybody. It doesn't really tell anybody anything, and I didn't know this at the time, so I can't really use it as a mark now. Looking back at parts of why Murderfly Multimedia wasn't really successful, it could be because the logo didn't really say anything to anybody. It was just blah. I overthought it. I thought it was really cool. I doodled it myself, and then I brought it into the computer. But one of the main reasons for the failure was actually just the name. I thought it was cool, but Murderfly actually scares off not even a large chunk of your population. Just murder in itself, they see that, and it's sort of, it keeps people away. And once again, when I was younger, I thought it was a cool name, but it was one of those things where, even though I was laid off, right now it's the best thing that ever happened to me. In a business sense, I'll say, if I didn't get laid off, I wouldn't have restarted Murderfly Multimedia, which I might have went backwards. There we go. I wouldn't have restarted this. So I still had this on the back burner, still to come back to if I needed to. Even though it was a failed company, and I still see it as a big failed company, I might have had 4 or 5 clients. It led me into a little bit further. It held me over for the next 3 or 4 months that I needed to make money. And I was able to I picked up a couple of web jobs, and I picked up a couple of jobs working as a tech support guy for a couple of local companies, until I was hired in another position with the local government. So without this company, I wouldn't be where I am today, which is this company. It's just my name, but this is what I'm doing right now. You can see, compared to what Murderfly Multimedia was, it's a lot simpler. It's more straightforward. The logo is just a C and an O. It's Curt Oneil, so you can see it just by itself, and you still sort of understand what it is. And then my name is just behind you. But I was still always interested in photography, so I was still shooting a little bit. I was still an amateur, I would say. But I kept having people ask me to shoot their weddings. Can you shoot my wedding? I really like what you do with your bands and things like that. Can you shoot my wedding? And I was like, no. And I turned out a number of people before I actually, because I didn't want to be that guy that ruined your wedding photos, essentially. Because even though I was an amateur photographer at the time, I thought wedding photos were something to cherish, and that you don't want to screw that up for somebody because you can't really recreate that day for them. So it wasn't until we were actually looking for our own wedding photos that I saw why some of my friends wanted me to shoot their weddings. What I was doing was a little bit more modern, and it had more of a feel that our age was looking for. So I finally took that chance and said to my friend, okay, listen up. I'm going to take 1 whole year, figure out how I want to do this, and I'll shoot your wedding. If it fails, if it becomes a miserable failure, we'll never talk about it again. You'll have wedding photos, though, that you'll hopefully enjoy. And it's just something I tried. So I was willing to take that step to just do this, to shoot a wedding for the first time. And I was happy I'd done it now. I've done it now. I'm a horrible English person. Because I wouldn't be where I am right now. I'm able to stay at home with my daughter because photography is what I do full time. I was able to leave my government job last year, take that next step, not worry about having that safety net anymore of full-time pay, benefits, pension, and take that step to become a full-time photographer. And that's helped me grow my business. It's helped me dreams and do what you want to do. And what's funny was my father actually was sort of against the idea of me leaving a government job, because growing up for him, that's what you wanted. You wanted to go out and work for the government. It seemed like a good idea. It's what you wanted to be. And I had an amazing job, and I worked with amazing people, and what I did, it's one of those jobs that somebody always wanted. But it was just that time where I knew I needed to step away from it, because it wasn't something I'd probably been to long term and be extremely happy with. So I was willing to take that chance. And, do you have a question, or are you on?
Yeah. So you said before you took the job for your first wedding.
Yes.
What did you have to shift in terms of knowledge or mentally to make the shift from no, I would do it to okay, let's do it? What I'm hearing is because you knew them really well and because they gave you the freedom, there was a bit more safety.
It was a little bit more safety net. I felt more comfortable taking this opportunity because I knew, even though if I F this up, we might not be friends anymore, right? Because if you gave them a blank something and gave them 3 pictures of a wall, they would be pretty upset with me, I think. But I knew that she would trust me in what I could bring to the table, and that I did have a little bit of safety there and a little bit of connection that they gave me full control of what I wanted to do on that day. So I was able to take that jump, and I lucked out in that sense. But I think a lot of people in my industry start out that way, where they have to work with some people they know, some family, some friends, and sort of get comfortable and build up that repertoire. But I did spend a whole year. I didn't just say, yeah, I'm going to shoot your wedding and show up the next weekend and try to do it. I spent a whole year researching what I was going to do. I bought some books. I got online and joined some forums, which was amazing, and made some amazing connections with other photographers around the world. And I was able to ask questions, and I went on and shot other such things and just practiced firsthand before I went into that full wedding day mode, I guess you could say. Does that sort of touch on what you're looking at?
Yeah, so basically you try to just address your knowledge gaps where you thought they were.
Yes.
And then do something that would let you step out but not too far out.
Exactly. And then we never really want to ask the question, what if? So when I graduated, I could have just sat around and waited for a job and not started at Murderfly Multimedia. But I could still be asking the question, what if I did do that business? Would it be successful now? What if I didn't call it Murderfly Multimedia? Maybe I would still be doing that business and I wouldn't be where I am. But if I didn't start that business, I wouldn't have a camera. And without that camera, I wouldn't be the photographer I am today, which is kind of funny how that giant fail of a business, it actually torments me somewhat now. The website's still up if you want to go and have a pretty good laugh. Type it on in. It's there. None of the links really work on sites I've done, I don't think, because they're all down. But you don't want to be sitting around and wondering what it, and then it's okay to jump. So it's just basically the general idea. As a guy afraid of heights, it's kind of funny that I say it's okay to jump. But I went ziplining in Hawaii, which is amazing. I was afraid every single time I jumped off the line and slid across the mountaintops, but I really love doing it, and it's okay to do that. You want to take those chances. You want to jump at opportunities, such as that opportunity I had with the speaking, the opportunity I had with the very first wedding I shot. And then I'm going to go to a quote because we all know it, and it sort of ties into sports. But Wayne Gretzky is pretty famous for saying, we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. But we also miss about 95% of the shots we do take, if not more. But it's the fact that you're taking those shots and you're taking those chances. So the whole idea with the fail was just that it's okay to fail. You can learn from your failures. They can help you build a better business in the long run. So my web development business was, like I said, a big time failure. But with that, I learned how to run my photography business a lot better. I learned how to interact with my clients. I learned how to portray myself. I learned that it's more about me and not some sort of idea that I had for a logo or a brand identity or anything like that. And to be successful is just go with it and keep trying and keep doing it, and sooner or later you will hit what you want to do, I guess, essentially. For much time, right, Jerry? Good. Jerry wrote some crazy things on the board over there.